Greetings, it is I, Tantus Naraban Dracovin, Lord and Emperor of the Dracovin Empire, and welcome. Today is to continue our talk of some anime series, and then making them into BESM games you can play in. So, we're continuing our talk of the Winter 2016 season. We've been going into those the last couple episodes. We're going to continue with it. Now, here's 3 more anime. These, I'm just going to let you know, I rate these all as a 4. They're pretty top of my list animes. Again, this is a rating of 1 to 5 of how much I like them, because I'm really only showing you animes that I really like right now. Anyway, so today, as I said, I'm going over 3 more. It's Nurse Witch Komugi-chan R, Dagashi Kashi, and Reikenzan. Let's start with Reikenzan, of course. So Reikenzan is actually a series based on a Chinese web novel series. So that's what the anime is based on. The first season's been out, second season's coming up. So there's this prediction that this child's going to be born that's going to cause a great calamity. This sort of forces the Reikenzan clan to begin opening up examinations to bring in more members. So they hear about this calamity and they want to sort of get a drop on it and maybe trying to stop it. So they begin examinations for more members. Then we can meet our main character, Wang Lu. Now he is an exceptional soul within him, meaning he's got this power which really hasn't been seen for like 1,000 years, so no one really knows what to do with it. And he goes and he takes these exams, and the first couple of episodes is his going through the exams and then figuring out if he has a place in the society there, in the clan. And eventually he does join it, and then they have a time skip towards the back end of the season where they're skipping ahead a few years and it's showing the results of some of his training as he's continuing his training. And a lot of those back end of the episodes revolve around him dealing with his training and dealing with his master and dealing with the people that he met when he originally took the exam, because he's sort of learning things differently than everyone else and sort of in this different area of learning than most of the other people. This is a kind of comedy series, definitely. It has a sort of comedic undertones from when I was watching it. I found little things about it that, like, it does, again, have this sort of different tone to it because it's based on a Chinese source. So it does have this very, traditional Chinese kind of ideal to it rather than Japanese. But again, they have these little things, like interactions between Wang Lu and his master that are very kind of silly, Of course, it's a fantasy because it has this very kind of mystical clan of sages that have all these abilities, and it's based around them. And it's very interesting that way. But I would also call it then sort of a magic series, because that sort of brings it in. It's based around this sort of spirituality powers, that all of them have special abilities, and some of them live longer because they're, developed their abilities as sages. So it has this very interesting tones to it. So let's talk about the next series, Dagashi Kashi. Now this one centers around the main character, Shinada Kokonatsu. Now, Kokonatsu, he works for his father in a small sweet and snack shop in a rural town, a rural unnamed town in Japan, where the family has been there for generations. Now, he really wants to be a manga artist, and he's practicing to do that. But his father, of course, wants him to inherit the business because it's been there for generations, and he's the next in line for it. So there's this kind of tension between the two of them, and then there's a character, Hotaru, comes in, and she's this daughter of a sweets company, and a sweets and snack company, and she's very eccentric. She has this incredible love for sweets and snacks. And the thing is, she's trying to recruit Kokonatsu's father. He has this kind of skill that they're looking for in the company, so she's trying to recruit it. Now, he doesn't want to leave until Kokonatsu decides to take over the business, so Hotaru goes through this entire quest of trying to convince him. And it's through stories and little riddles and little games, usually revolving around some kind of candy or sweet from the shop. And so you get a lot of interesting, traditional and newer Japanese sweets and mixing them in, and it's this kind of, it tells you a lot about them. And you can learn a little bit about them just by watching it. And it is very interesting. So this is definitely a comedy. There's this very deep comedic undertones that Hotaru has this sort of unnatural love for candy and stuff that she goes almost to obsessive levels, and because of that she gets into sort of little situations, especially involving her attempting to convince Kokonatsu to stay there, that just are kind of funny. I would call it then also sort of this puzzle game a little bit. Puzzle game anime, because there is always this sort of usually a little game or a little riddle or something involved with what's going on with whatever candy there is, that, they do these little events with them that seem to revolve a main centerpiece. But on that hand, I'm also calling it a sweet and snack anime, because it does revolve around sweets and snacks. that's the main idea of it. And I don't think there's a lot of animes that actually could qualify for calling it something like that, but I thought that it makes it unique that it's an anime that sort of focuses on that. Anyway, so the last one I want to talk about is Nurse Witch Komugi-chan R. Now this is the latest of the Nurse Witch Komugi-chan series. They've had a few different ones. This one sort of takes place in its own universe from the other one. Some of them have always been sequels to each other. This one revolves around Yoshida Komugi-chan. Now, she is a second-year middle school student. She's also an idol, but she's sort of the low-end totem pole of the idol. That she's in this company, and she sort of does a lot of low-end stuff, you know, like local businesses. She does little sort of things for them, and she's trying to become a more famous idol because she's got a couple of friends who are actually like higher up on the list, you know, who are much more famous, who get better jobs. She wants to perform with them. You know, she's not trying to compete with them. She wants to be all of them together, get together and have these events and have fun together. Now the thing is, she meets Usapi, this strange little like bunny creature that gives her the powers of a magical girl, and she becomes Nurse Witch. So, and then she also has to balance not only school life and idol life, but now magical girl life, where it turns out then all her other, like, some of her idol friends become magical girls too, and none of them know that each other are magical girls, and they're all trying to become the legendary girl, but none of them are really trying as much as their little companion creatures want them to. They're all just sort of doing it, I guess, more out of obligation, it seems, that they've sort of become this way, and they want to help out their little animal friends. And so eventually, you know, they compete sort of with each other in the series, and it does have very interesting moments, and it does come to a very nice climax at the end of it. So this one is definitely a comedy series. It's a comedy because Komugichan just gets into comedic situations. It opens up to, like, things are very silly just in the nature of it, and they build it that way. And that leads into the next one I'm calling it as a genre, is parody. It's meant to sort of parody magical girls and parody that sort of thing. It has this sort of deep undercut because the entire Magical Girl Komugichan series has sort of been a parody series, and this one even has it too. I don't think this one has it as much as some of the older ones. I've seen some of the older series, and I don't think it's as push it forward front and center as other ones have for the parody sections, but it still exists there on a good degree. And that's where I'm going to come up with the last world. It's a Magical Girl anime. It definitely is. Even though it's sort of like a comedy parody of a magical girl, it's still a magical girl anime. And there is this, like, tones of the magical girls. And they are, indeed, you know, doing the traditional magical girl things, fighting the monster of the day, you know, defeating it, trying to get to some kind of mystical goal. And it does what it does best. Anyway, so this is the 3 series I wanted to talk about today from the Winter 2016 series. I've introduced you to them in the next episode, which should be coming up after this one. I'll tell you how you can integrate these into your BESM game, which is very interesting for some of them. So if you have any questions, comments, anything you want to say, anything you think I left out, please leave in the comments below. Please like this video if you enjoyed it. It's a great way of showing your support for the channel and the Empire. Please subscribe if you already haven't. We're always looking for more members, more citizens, and please share this video if you know anybody that would be interested in it or learn anything from it. And until next time, I bid you farewell.